and we could start talking about that. And then we'll start talking about your practice. But what is your intent? And we don't build, most dentists build a website, it's a brochure. And that's all it is. And it doesn't have any really good, valuable information in it. It's pretty. And I'm not blaming website designers. They do what people ask them to do. And I don't think dentists know what they're supposed to ask the designer to do. So they make a very expensive website. And it seems like dental websites are more expensive than the average guys. And then you send them there and it's pretty and nothing happens from there. So I think it should be part of your machine to leverage. So are you trying to get new patients? Yes, ultimately. But I think you need to start even sooner than that. You're starting to build the relationship. That's my intent with a website, is to build the relationship. And then the second thing is start building leads and permission to build the relationship and intent. And we'll go through that and ways you can do that. And I'll give you some examples. So I showed you yesterday with my Oklahoma example, it's got about the racial relationship, okay? That's the R word. All marketing should be rated R. What are our non-negotiables? Number 1, say it with me, headline. 2, benefits. 3, testimonials. 4, call to action. 5, offer. 6, deadline on everything. And 7, disclaimer. Thank you. So let's go through the processes. Let's start beginning, and we'll build up through this, okay? And if you guys have questions, let's get these answered. So marketing to the right patient for your practice. We built that yesterday. Who's your who? And it might be somebody, it might be more than one. Now I'm going to give you another tip here. When you're developing for your who, it helps to have that person in mind. I mean, physically have that person in mind. So if there's a characteristic about this patient, this class of patients, you want to pick someone that represents it. So let's say if I'm picking middle-aged women, they might even be short. I picture them with their grandkids. You know, what fits them? I mean, physically, when you start this, you have to have a picture of them there. You guys, in your case, you had a patient that you modeled. And you can look at that patient every time, and you just say everything about her. Where she hangs out, where she works, she was divorced, everything about her. If you have that in, it helps you with your clarity and your intent. If not, you're just kind of rambling. Again, it's not having the map, so have that clear. And then don't do the same marketing to everybody. So, you know, if you're doing something for just implant patients in your practice, let's talk about internal marketing. So you're going to do something implants. First people I would send something out to is people who already have a treatment plan for implants and who have not come in. Don't send it to everybody first. Segment your list, okay? If you're trying to get recall patients in, why don't you go to the ones who are past due recall? Start with them first. I know this sounds idiotic, but people will blast out everything. This is how you can have more than one marketing campaign going on a month, because you segment your list. And once in a while, you'll have people on the same list. But if you know that, that will help you be more effective to hit your mark, because we're not doing the shotgun. We want to be the precision shooter. I want to be a sharpshooter with this. I showed you yesterday my friend Yo Mama Marketing, how he had everything listed. Okay, so why do we segment the list? So you don't get tempted to say, well, I'm going to spend this money on marketing. I'm going to put an ad in the newspaper. I'm going to send out a newspaper. Then you think you give them more options. That will make them choose more things. But it does absolutely the opposite. So you need to make sure the message is right for that person. It's a service they're interested. They said yes to, you know, that's what they need. And then you just talk about that service. Now, if they come in, then you can talk about other things. But if you give them more than 1 or 2 choices, they will choose 0. They don't want a menu, okay? Because that gets them confused. Make it simple. And honestly, give them the best option for them. And you know what that option is. So let's talk about leveraging systems. And this is a little automated. Let me go back and explain what a system is, too. It doesn't have to be a computer. It doesn't have to be the internet. It doesn't have to be mobile marketing. It's just something consistent. Like you said, your computer that you're already using, by putting a tag on it, where you have in your calendar, your marketing calendar, which we'll talk about tomorrow, that 4 times a year, every quarter, that you're going to send out a letter to anyone who's got that Invisalign tag that you talked about it, and you're going to send out an offer to them. That is the system. And it goes on the calendar. You have the letter written. Nobody's reinventing the wheel. You can have it going each and every month. Something going on. so you can have that doing the heavy lifting. The other thing about a system is, this is my clarification of the system. The doctor does not need to tell the staff to do it, or the doctor doesn't need to get involved, and it's not sitting on the doctor's desk. Okay? That's my definition of a system. Yes, the doctor needs to be involved, sets a vision. We had to get something approved there, but after that, we don't go back. What's that, Tail?
No, I said guidelines.
Guidelines, yes. They need, and you need to empower your employees. If they're really, say, well, they can't handle it. I need to check everything. Well, then you need to be training them, or you need to be replacing them. Because it's only going to hold you back. Only thing you can make money on is if you're sitting in a chair. You don't get any money by thinking in your office, unfortunately. So let me talk about a formula. Like I said, even though my clients have different offices, we do different marketing with them, we do different systems. I mean, the same system is always consistent. We have a framework to reference it all in. So let me just give you the gist of the system, the marketing cycle. So the doctor develops the vision. So this is what I want. I'd like to do more of this, okay? So that doctor's there, and then he gives it to the team member. So what we work with them on is filling in the blanks on the how. The doctor does not need to get involved on all that stuff, because the more you know, the more it's going to bog your brain down and it's going to slow you down. We need smart people that can do it. That dental marketing assistant I talked about, it might be a front office person that does this part-time. Somebody else in the office, I've had hygiene assistants sometimes that could do it. It's the person with the right personality, the right skill sets, and they come in through it. A lot of times it gets bogged down if it's just the office manager, because if they're really busy practice, they're busy managing the office. So we talk about and we put the systems in place. So that's what you guys are going to be building, is your systems as we go through. So you can give it to the team and let them do it, okay? Then they are responsible for the implementation. After that, it's off the doctor's desk. Not to be talked about again. They're not going to worry about it. It's going. It's going to the patient. It's going to the prospect. It's going out in the newspaper, wherever it needs to go. And then we talk about tracking it and taking it back to the results so the doctor can see what happened. So doctor's not doesn't need the minutia. You just need the big picture, okay? And we're going to talk a lot about that in the panel this afternoon. I've got some real stories to show you from some real people, and I think they'll be very valuable how they made that transition and giving up that role and that management duty. So once you give this to somebody, that doesn't mean you do not abandon them. It's like, I thought Susie was taking care of that. I told Susie to do that. If you don't have that tracking in place where they're coming back, you should be having monthly meetings where there's a marketing part in it, and they're reporting what you had planned from the meeting before, what got done, what were the results, so you know what happened. Because I'm going to direct that question to you guys. That's difficult. When you put it out there and it didn't get done, does that irk you? That used to irk you and it frustrated you. So then you would start to step in and try to be right on top of it, micromanage it sometimes. So we're going to talk about micromanaging. Do you find that in your guys' practice? You might not have that system yet, so you don't know that yet. And as you go through this process, you've got to empower them and make sure they're right. But you've got to not abandon them, because that's where you find out, front offices that they haven't collected, marketing didn't go out, all kinds of stuff didn't happen because it got busy. And so they need to know what's important and prioritize, and they need to report back to you.